Why do smaller real estate pages get better leads and more clients? I know this sounds like something unheard of, something crazy. Maybe you don't even believe it just yet. Well, I'm about to explain it to you, so let's just get straight into it. So one thing that you have to understand is there's two types of different pages that people optimize social media for. There's pages where they're optimized for views and reach, and there's also pages where it's more optimized for a smaller reach and more relevance. And what a lot of real estate agents tend to do, whether it's unintentional or not, is they head towards the direction of, I'm going to optimize for more reach, right? I want as many views as possible, as humanly possible. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get as many eyes on me, no matter if those eyes are the right eyes or just any type of, eyes on them. They just want to optimize for the most reach as possible. I'll tell you why that's wrong. Because although they may be getting as many eyes on them as possible, and they may think that the more eyes, the more business, which is not true, they are not actually focus on the relevance of those eyes. They're not focused on the view to contact ratio when it comes to how many people are watching my video, but on top of that, how many people are actually reaching out in order to get my help for them. Now, those types of social media pages are just a ticking time bomb, not only for the page itself, but for the actual agent behind the page. And I'll tell you why. It's because whenever a video doesn't work as intended, because they've optimized so much for views and reach, whenever a video does not get that many views or reach, they feel down about themselves. They feel like they did something wrong. And therefore, they start to try to change up their content in a way that doesn't work for the audience that they've already built, that they think is so amazing, right? Little did they know the audience that they've been building that entire time, that's been enjoying them for whatever reason that may be, whatever type of content they're putting out this entire time. 9 times out of 10, it was not the type of content that actually moves the needle forward. It's not the type of content that makes somebody want to reach out to them, specifically out to them and say, hey, I believe you're the person who needs to help me with my buying, selling, renting process. I believe you are the one who needs to help me. That's usually not the case, because if it was, then I guarantee they wouldn't have reached as many people as they did, just because it's so niche of a topic. And it is one of those things where if you aren't actually focused on the amount of relevance you're getting from these views, then it'll just shoot you right back in the foot. Now, on the other side of all that, there are these smaller, more focused pages that are actually optimized for relevance, and they are built, literally built to hit their target audience each and every single time as much as they humanly possibly can. And because they're so smaller and so focused on just owning that topic, owning that lane of this is who I'm speaking to, because this is exactly who I know I can help, who needs me, the algorithm will push those videos out to more people who need that type of content, who need that type of service. And so, of course, when that happens, all the people who were focused on being the big dog in the industry and thinking that they're reaching 1 million people each and every single time, that's doing the job for them. There's a certain group of people over here, which aren't many, by the way, who are actually so focused and brute forcing their way to the exact audience who will reach out to them every single time. They're going to come out on top. And guess what? You just wasted your time trying to focus on views and reach and followers and likes. Those things are good. Those things are cool. But I guarantee it's not the end all be all. And it's definitely not what you should be focused on as a real estate agent trying to get more leads, business, clients, everything. So there it is. 2 types of pages that people usually go for, whether it be intentionally or unintentionally. That's the way it usually goes down. And I'll tell you this, not many people go down that route of having the more smaller and focused page just because they think smaller equals bad. When in reality, when talking about getting business, smaller does not equal bad. It actually equals more focus. And what happens when you're more focused on the type of content you're putting out and focus on continuously hitting that audience that you need to hit? Well, then you get better results. It's as simple as that. Now, dissecting those 2 lanes even further, right? We want to focus on what is actually happening within these pages, within the videos themselves. And it's usually hand in hand. It's usually linked when it comes to optimizing for reach and optimizing for relevance. You're a real estate agent focused on reaching as many people as possible. You're usually going to be trying to put out as much of entertainment focused content as possible. That's just how social media works. It's much easier to entertain a huge amount of people rather than to educate a huge amount of people about a specific topic. And that leads me to the pages that are usually 9 times out of 10 focused on relevance. They're going to be pushing out more educational content, more content of value that their audience can actually understand, take in, and get something from it. It's much easier to entertain people than it is to educate people, especially when you realize that people hop on social media to scroll and be entertained in the first place. And so if you're trying to stop the scroll with a more educational video, and even further than that, with a video that is in a specific niche, location, whatever the fact may be, the margin for views gets even slimmer. But that's fine, because as long as you're focused on the view to contact ratio, then I guarantee the slimmer the views, the better it actually is in the long run for you. There's real estate agents out there focused on trying to be the most entertaining as possible, the one who makes everybody want to watch them. Like, that's the goal for many of these agents. Then there's agents out there who are just focused on trying to be as valuable as possible, as valuable to their audience and in their niche and location, and do that in a higher volume of repetition, so that whenever people are ready to reach out, they usually won't focus on the agent who entertained them the most, but they'll usually focus on the agent who educated them and gave them more value at a much higher volume. Now, here's the part that a lot of people miss, right? They think that just because your video is more educational, just because your page is optimized around relevance and education rather than entertainment and reach, that your videos have to be boring. What I say to that is, yes, make your videos boring. Make them as boring as possible. Make them as simple as possible for people to digest and understand. And when I say that, I don't mean that you have to be boring. You, as the real estate agent, you have to be. No, that's not what I'm saying, because that'll actually hurt you. And I'm sure you know that, right? But when I say boring, make the format of the video boring and as simple as possible. Whatever's working out there is usually going to be the most simple formats of videos that you've seen ever in your life. Like, you do not have to have this big production team behind you where it looks like this 5-star, highly graded commercial. You don't have to have editing on your resume. No, none of that. Like, none of that is even necessary. Usually, you can just take your phone out, get a few clips of the house, put them together in a recognizable way that's actually been proven to work. And guess what? That works every single time for you. Was it fun? Was it the most exciting format? No. But does it work? Yes. Does your audience not only enjoy that type of content already, but is that familiar to them? Yes. And at the same time, the actual purpose of the video was to educate them, was to give them new perspective, was to show them what they wanted to see, show them what they can have, and tell them what they want to hear. And to them, that part isn't boring. That part is valuable. That's what they want to see. That's what they need, right? So no, educational content does not always equal boring. Sure, the format may be boring, but that can work in your favor as long as you know what's been already proven to work and what works for your audience. Now, another reason why smaller real estate pages get more leads and better clients, right, is because they are focused on the idea of social selling. You know, putting yourself out there enough, and not just marketing yourself or marketing your properties, but actually building your relationships with your audience, selling you as the obvious choice before a point of first contact. That's what social selling does for you. It turns cold leads into warm leads before they even ever reach out to you. Doing that and actually focus on your audience, what they need to see, what they want to see, instead of just scattering all over the place and, chasing views, is a way better way of going about things. And I'm sure you know that already. But a lot of agents out there don't know exactly how to social sell, because they think they have to hop on camera and sell, when really it's just giving the people what they want to see and providing value and actually building those relationships in a way that you would with a newfound friend. It's just simple. Like, it's simple. It's just communication at that point. You're just communicating with their audience and learning how to talk and work with them instead of always talking to them and thinking that you have to market yourself over and over and over as this, number one real estate agent in the city, when I guarantee they do not care about that part if you don't know how to connect with them in the first place. Speak their language is exactly what I'm saying here. I want you to think about it this way, right? These people are making the biggest purchases of their life. Like, this is the home that they're buying or selling. This is the apartment, the condo that they're renting out. Like, they are not taking this lightly. Now, compare that to somebody who has heart issues, right? They need to get their heart fixed. And your heart is one of the most important, if not the most important part of your body. If it's not working, then nothing else is working correctly. Who do you think they'll go to whenever they need to work on their heart? A very important part of the body, right? A general physician or a heart surgeon is going to be the person who specializes in fixing hearts. It's going to be the person who's more focused and more settled on one lane than just any and everything. Why? Because it's more important and it's more higher stakes when it comes to this type of subject. Now, let's just think about that exact same thing when it comes to real estate, right? You have somebody who is making the biggest purchase of their life, the most important thing to them at that moment in time. And they have a choice between two real estate agents. One, the agent who can help any and everybody, right? The one who's always focused on just reaching the most amount of people, or the one who is more focused on just a niche audience and that's specialized in that one thing. They may have the smaller page, but they realize more value is over here with this guy who is more specialized in this thing rather than just somebody who's generalizing in everything. Because of that, who do you actually think your audience would want to go with? Not even your audience, just any audience. Who do you think they'll want to go with? It's going to be the one with more relevance to them, the smaller guy over here. Stop chasing views. Instead, just focus on chasing all of the right views, and you will find out that your page and all the metrics that you think have mattered up to this point, the followers, the likes, the views, the comments, whatever the case may be, don't actually matter as much as optimizing your page for more relevance. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you if you made it this far. I'm dropping banger after banger, value, value, value every single week, multiple times a week. So I would hate for you to miss any of that, especially if you are focused on making social media your number one lead generation source the most chill way possible. And by the way, guys, I do have a community where I am teaching y'all how to optimize these smaller pages for more relevance and more leads. It's just so many people out there trying to teach how to get the most views, most followers and whatnot. But in there, I make sure you know exactly what works every single week, whether you have 0 followers or 25,000. The link is always going to be down below in the description whenever you want to check that out. So that's just my plug for today.